Not all people are born with a courageous lion's heart. Bravery and heroism are niche phenomena. There is absolutely nothing to be said against exercising caution. After all, we can only correctly predict the fewest consequences of our courageous leaps of faith. The chances are always only 50-50 that a courageous leap will take us further. But what if we simply look at this thesis from a new angle? After all, the odds are 50-50 that being brave will pay off in the end. In today's video, we'd like to give you a few tips on how you can succeed in developing more daring and determination for your life. If you like our videos, feel free to support us with a thumbs up, subscribe to Psychology in Mind, activate the little bell, and stay tuned for the videos we upload for you daily. Number 1. What is the need for courage in daily life? Can't we just leave the moral courage and heroism to others? There are so many professions and institutions that inherently attract people who put themselves in danger every day to save others without any fear. As ordinary mortals, there would be no need at all to get over ourselves and leave behind the many little fears that keep us at the bottom of the safe facts. The fact is, being brave always pays off. Even if the result is not what we had hoped for, by jumping over our shadow, we have taken a giant step in the right direction. This is where tiny little actions count as much as real milestones. The key to being brave is not to spend big at all, but to push ourselves and take a step out of our comfort zone. The great thing about being brave is not the result, but the journey to get there. And once we have successfully overcome ourselves, the first and thus greatest inhibition has been successfully defeated. One courageous step can and will lead to many more. Number 2. Fear makes us vulnerable and susceptible to attack. The flip side of the courage coin is fear. If you never venture out of your shell and try new things, you will always feel a deficiency. We then blame these deficits on ourselves as weaknesses. Fear thus manifests a weak self-image and destroys much of the sovereignty we have laboriously built up. The quote, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself," comes from U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt. As part of his 1933 inaugural address, these wise words perfectly illustrate what fears do to us. They paralyze us and make us ideal targets for our enemies. Number 3. Before courage comes truth. The first step toward more determination in life begins with a ruthless inventory. What are we afraid of? What do we fear the most? What are our weaknesses and those sides that we do not want to show to anyone? Our shadow sides are like the shadows from the spirit world that haunt us. We have to face them eye to eye and acknowledge their presence. Only then can we address them, and only then can they disappear. Those who hide from their handicaps for life will never come to terms with them. Be honest with yourself and dare to look in the mirror. As soon as we see our fears as a part of ourselves, this is already the first step towards courage. Number 4. Courage needs fuel. A superpower like courage needs power to develop. The most important prerequisite for this is a positive mindset. The more good mood and cheerfulness you attract into your life, the more courageous you will become in passing. Your feelings are powerful tools that decide in every second of your existence which vibrations you send out into the world. If you are happy from the bottom of your soul, take advantage of this wave of positive energy. These moments are perfect for putting yourself through minor or major tests of courage. Talk to a stranger, go to a pub alone, and drive somewhere you've never been before. Feelings of happiness are the fuel for pretty much everything good that can happen to us. Number 5. Don't compare yourself to others. When it comes to bravery and determination, it's also not at all worth risking sideways glances at others. As always in life, comparing yourself to others is the first fatal step in the wrong direction. Why? Your courage is not the courage of others. You probably have knowledge and information that your peers don't have, and vice versa. What they don't know sometimes makes them run ahead and rush recklessly into an action that will not meet with success. You would know this, and that is why you choose restraint in this situation, which wins here. The lines between heroism and stupidity are fluid, and sometimes only a very thin veil separates them. If your gut tells you to be cautious, better listen to it. When in doubt, it's better to be cautious and alive than foolhardy and dead as a doornail. Number 6, ask yourself the question of meaning. You think it's insanely cool and unspeakably admirable when someone parachutes out of an airplane? You could never do it because you are not brave enough? We look at such and similar cases quite wrongly. Is it really a lack of courage that keeps you from doing it? Or is it just that, deep down, you see absolutely no point in paying a lot of money to jump out of a plane into the depths? Never underestimate your intuition and common sense. Both always work hand in hand when we need it most. This powerful alliance has probably saved us from unwise decisions more times than we realize. In our eyes, we were cowards then. In actual fact, it was simply the better choice. Number 7, trust the magic kick. Of course, in any situation that requires a little determination on our part, we can ask the big question: what would be the worst thing that could happen to us? However, as soon as we have to start this philosophical train of thought, the matter is actually already decided. If we first have to think about whether it pays to trade caution for risk-taking, the answer is no. This fight is not your fight then. This site is not your sphere of competence. You are then challenged when invisible forces nudge you in the right direction without warning. Such cosmic kicks in the butt happen to us again and again. In a split second, others who simply know better than we do decide what is good for us. When we plunge headlong into an adventure or land a project that, on closer inspection, is actually a few sizes too big for us, someone at that moment believes us wholeheartedly. The least we can do is follow that example. Today's conclusion: flight of fancy and free fall. Obstacles and difficulties are steps on which we climb to the heights. We should take this quote from Friedrich Nietzsche to heart. We always win when we are courageous. Courage requires confidence. If we don't have it in ourselves, someone else does. This someone trusts us to do this great thing. Otherwise, we would still be standing at the top of the cliff and not already headfirst in freefall. Trust yourself and dare. That's it for today.
Thanks for watching. Did you find this information helpful? Do you have experience with it? We would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts. For more resources about mental health, self-improvement, and psychology, visit our website. You'll find the link in the video description where you can also connect with us on social media and sign up for our email list. Take care of yourself and have a beautiful day.